set the background, I think there are three overarching principles that we have as safety mission. One is to improve compliance with regulation and corporate policy. Secondly is to enhance, improve performance, and the term performance relates to accidents. And thirdly, safety culture. So those are the underlying fundamentals of what we're trying to do. The safety mission is the way I look at it.
So we're constantly trying to figure out how to protect our people in those different market environments. On the federal side, we're in the DoD market, a whole different realm of safety. We're over in Iraq right now, and your number one safety is protecting you from roadside bombs and safely getting back and forth to a protected area, let alone the inherent safety issues with regard to performing the work. So we're doing work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and we're looking to do work for the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy. We're in the water wastewater industry. Again, a whole nother element of hazards associated with being in a wastewater treatment plant. Have you ever been in a wastewater treatment plant? It's an amazing, amazing site. It's the technology, the pure scale of the facility, the smell, and water treatment, as well as conveyance systems, pipelines to move the material back and forth. And then lastly, we're in what I call the non-DoD commercial, civilian type markets. Still federal and state type clients like GSA, where we're building facilities, courthouses, prisons. We're state departments of general services, where we're building state facilities. We're doing hotels, we're doing higher education type facilities. So this is a little bit different than what these guys do. It's more on a vertical side of things, where we're exposed to a lot of heights, different bridges. So that's the overview of our markets.
We still have room for improvement, but we're around 110 of the 160 construction services staff that do have OSHA 10 or better yet 40-hour training. We did hire staff that had come from the construction trade industry that had 40-hour training. So now our goal is to get up to 160. Where the gap came in was, I mentioned, those who were hired after the last training, we continue to hire. I mean, usually we're looking to start slowing down the season in certain parts of the state in September, and we were still hiring people. So there was a little bit of a hole there that we didn't catch, as well as some of our construction managers we didn't catch. But our requirement by next spring is that everybody, if you're on the team, construction services, whether you're in the office at CM, or you're out in the field as inspector, you're welcome to have a 10-hour training.
It has health and safety plan sitting on the table there. Everybody, first day they're on the job, is required to sit down, read it, and it can be, with all the modules in place, it can be a little extensive. So if it takes them a day or two to read everything and understand everything, then they sign here indicating they've read and understand and are going to comply with all our safety regulations. It's also required to follow our plan. Just some examples of some of the modules that we have, and these go into more detail about specific what needs to be done in certain situations to maintain a safe work environment, from fall protection to working safely outdoors. And there again, these are tailored specifically for project to project, based on what you might be exposed to. Personal protective equipment, fairly obvious one. Our guys do a very good job. I've never seen anybody out there without a hard hat and vest on. We require them to wear a hard hat and vest whenever they're in the field. PennDOT, I think in the past I think maybe they're changing now, but if you said you were working behind concrete barrier, you didn't necessarily need a vest on. Baker's policy is you wear a vest 100% of the time when you're outside. Here's two of Baker's finest. This is Jerry Johnson. He just retired 2 weeks ago after 40 years in the construction industry, 35 of that with PennDOT. But our guys are very good with personal protective equipment. Fall protection is another one of the modules that people can read about. For the most part, our inspection staff they're not out here walking these beams for the most part. most of the inspection, or the fall protection system here, which you can see by the rails and the cable hook between them, that's what the contractor ties off to. Their guys need to be out there bolting all this steel together. For the most part, we do not. If we have anything we need to look at, a lot of times it'll be done from man lift from underneath, which we still require to wear the fall protection harness, but most of the work would be done from man lift. If there is a need for us to get out there, it would be very limited, and we typically are not out there walking the beams. But the contractors people are, and that's one of the things we also try and keep an eye on. If we see the contractor doing something unsafe, we tell our people, notify the contractor foreman who's on site. We don't want to see anybody get hurt, Baker employees, Walsh employees, anybody. Notify the foreman immediately, and notify us, we'll notify the Walsh's safety person who'll come and take a look at it. Again, Walsh is very safety conscious. We're doing a very good job, to the point where the manufacturer of the fall protection system actually requested that they take a 240-pound dummy, throw it off of the bridge to make sure that the safety line's held. And here you can see the man lift that dropped him. He's not hanging from the basket, he's hanging from the cable.
It's a dummy,
It's
it's
a
not a
dummy, yeah,
real
240-pound
person.
dummy. Kind of looks like Buster from this Mythbuster. So they did that to verify that everything was installed properly and functioning. The project we're working on is the PA 581 US 15 interchange. Just to give you an idea where the project is, here's Harrisburg. We're about right up here, just north of 81 here. But the Capital Beltway is shown here in red, which basically encircles the Harrisburg here. Circle this area here. It's a section 501 west of 83 and between 15 and 83, and then also a portion of 15 through here. Close up of the project with 581 running east and west here, and 15 coming up north and south. PennDOT originally put this out as one construction project. They got one bid, and it was $127 million, which was 40-some% higher than their estimate. So PennDOT backed off, rejected the bid, split it up into two contracts. They tried to separate it into approximately equal contracts. The first contract was to be bid was in the fall 2008, or the spring of 2008 was the contract one here shown in orange. Includes a portion, a little bit over a mile of 15 here, various side road improvements that are being done, and also an auxiliary lane being added to 581 eastbound here. Contract 2 started a year later. They started last winter, shown here in yellow. Was the remaining portions of 15 and 581 in basically the interchange area here.
And what were those two amounts?
Walsh's contract, contract 1 was $57.7 million, and J.D. Ekman's contract 2 was $51 million. So altogether, that's almost $10 million. It's $18 million less than the original estimate, or the original bid was when it was bid as one contract. Seems like maybe that was too much work in one contract. Really limited the number of bidders that were received. Made the price go up.
Did the original bidder get either one of the?
Yes, the original bidder was Walsh Construction Company. They got the first one. Walsh Construction Company out of Chicago, Illinois. They have an office out in Pittsburgh. They're currently working on the Allegheny River Bridge on the Turnpike.
Yeah, he's right out there because it was so complex.
J.D. Ekman's more of a local contractor. They're from Athens, Pennsylvania, which is down kind of Lancaster towards Philadelphia area. Not nearly as big as Walsh, but obviously capable of doing a job this size where maybe they weren't capable of doing a job when it was altogether $100 million. Part of the reasons for doing this project to begin with is safety improvements to the corridor. Several issues with the existing alignments the way it was, just to reorient everybody, 581 here and 15 coming up. The 581 ramp and the ramp at Gettysburg Road here are very close together. You had entering and exiting traffic, all trying to make weaving movements in that area. That was a major consideration. Also, this merge and diverge area where you had this loop ramp coming on with on traffic and this loop ramp with off traffic. A lot of cars making that movement. You had high-speed traffic coming in. It was a mess. Several fatalities in that area, and that was one of the major things that needed to be resolved with the reconstruction and interchange. And lastly, another issue was stacking on these ramps. Heavy traffic movements from both directions of 581 to 15 south, and those ramps would stack up, back up out on the main line, and with the high-speed traffic coming into it, create an unsafe situation. So that's the capacity of the roads with additional lanes and such. But those are the three major safety concerns that are being taken care of. In the final design here with 581 in this direction, all the turning movements at the new interchange are going to be done on a collector distributor road where mainline traffic from 581 is separated from the high-speed mainline traffic is separated from the low-speed entering and exiting traffic by a concrete barrier. So all the turning movements are being done.
That's part of the collector distributor route. Yeah, that's part of the collector distributor road. That'll be going in. And I got Brian explained during the presentation. Traffic that wants to use the interchange will actually be on that side of the concrete barrier. Whereas through traffic will stay on the interchange the other way.
Office and this project to come out and visit. Hopefully everything went well for you, and hopefully, I mean, you can see the relationship here between Walsh, the contractor, Baker, who's representing PennDOT, and myself as far as PennDOT. And I will say this job is partnered. I don't know if everyone understands that. It is a partnering job, and so every 3 months or every third month we have a hardening executive meeting, and I think they've been some of the best executive meetings that I've been at, that we can come together knowing the situation we're in. When you're an owner and a contractor, you're going to have your disagreements. You're going to have your issues you got to work through. And this has been overall with the Baker support here and with Walsh, it's been a great job to work through as executive partnering. We've been able to do that. We've had some issues we've had to work through, but we were able to talk about them and work them out and voice our opinions and be able to eat lunch and don't get indigestion and be able to get up and start talking about the football game right after that. So it's been a really good experience, and hopefully you got a little bit of a sense of that coming in and visiting here today. So welcome, and like I said, hopefully everything went well and everybody have a safe trip back then when you head out.